Hey everyone, thank you for joining me again for another episode of HardgainZ the podcast. I'm Coach HardgainZ. Happy Easter. Now obviously you're probably not watching this on Easter because it's going to be a small percentage of those who are watching it today on Easter and then whenever you watch it. But guys, Easter is very special to me. Now I do know that many of you are religious. We've had this discussion on a bunch of my videos, especially my near-death experiences and my spinal fusion videos. But I also happen to know that there are quite a few of you watching that are not religious or would consider yourself spiritual. And I respect that. I don't feel like I need to cater to anyone else because this is my channel. But out of respect for all of our viewers, I want to talk to you in a different way today. All right? Easter is very special to me, believe it or not, because it has a different meaning as I've gotten older. As a kid, obviously, you get an Easter basket and there's candy and sugar and it's not even about Jesus or his resurrection or his rising or anything about it. It's just about candy and a scary Easter bunny, right? But then as you get older, you're taught the true meaning of Easter, and we appreciate Palm Sunday and Good Friday, and we appreciate, or we're supposed to start appreciating, the process of Jesus Christ dying and what he went through in that process, being buried in a tomb and rising. But as I've gotten older and as I have had many near-death experiences, many, and I'm not just including my physical near-death experiences, because I've had a handful of those. And then I've had near-death experiences spiritually, where my spirit was on its way to dying. Emotional near-death experiences, when emotionally I was on my way to dying. Guys, there's so many different ways that we can have near-death experiences when the person that we are is dying. I've been through so much that I've experienced so many of these different feelings, and I liken it unto the way that Christ rises for us. He died for us. He rose for us. And I know that when I've had these experiences, when I have been close to dying, literally, they gave me 2 months left to live, all my organs shut off. Most of you have heard me talk about this before. I was wasting away to nothing. I was 120 pounds at 5'10", and I was at the height of my musical career. I was at the height of my bodybuilding career. I was at the height of my physique, and it was all taken away from me. It was all gone. And I was basically just dead in my home. I couldn't leave the house. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even eat or drink for months. And I was dying. And I was as good as dead. And the doctors considered me dead. My mother thought I was dying. And eventually, I came to the point where I agreed. And I thought, there's no way I'm not going to die. Because there's nothing left. I have nothing left. I am nothing left. And I'm going to share a very personal experience with you right now. I asked for a blessing. I asked for 2 men from the church that I was going to at that time to give me a blessing. I asked them to come into my house once I gave up. Once I gave up and thought, I have nothing left. In that moment it took me that long to hand it over to God, to say, all right, God, I tried. I tried everything I could to fix myself, to heal myself, to get healthy. I went to all the best doctors. My parents paid for me to go see all the best internal medicine specialists, the best gastrointestinal specialists. I mean, I was in Princeton, New Jersey, seeing some of the best doctors in the world, and no one could figure out what was wrong with me. No one. And so I gave it to God. But it took me all of that time to give it to God. To realize I lost my musical career. And I was at the height, man. I was about this close to a record deal. We opened up for big bands, Incubus and Dashboard Confessional. We had national radio play, and I loved the guys I was playing with. We were a band and a group, and I had to let it all go. Because I couldn't even leave the house, let alone go on a tour bus. So I finally gave it up to God. And I said, God, I can't do this. I can't do this without you. And so I called my church, and these two young men came over. I had never met them before. I hadn't really been going to church in a long time because I couldn't leave the house. I was emaciated. I was completely wasted away. Eventually I had IVs in me. And these two young men put their hands on my head. And they prayed. And this was in 2003, guys. This was a long time ago. It's 2022 right now at the time I make this video. They put their hands on my head and they prayed to God. And I don't really even remember anything they said. Because I was so overwhelmed with a feeling. A feeling. Like a lightning rod. Coming through their hands, down into my head, through my entire body, through my feet, grounding me to the earth. Connecting me to the earth that God created in a way that I had never felt before. And this feeling just filled my entire body. And I know that there's a lot of times we hear people tell stories of seeing the white light and being close, and I don't want this to sound hokey or made up, because it's not at all. And I hope many of you have been watching my videos enough to know me, that I don't bullshit and I don't lie. Excuse me, God, I'm sorry for swearing. You guys know I need to work on that. But this feeling encompassed my entire body. From head to toe, every square inch of my body felt ignited with this feeling. And when they were done, I was in tears. And I heard a very soft, subtle voice. And that voice just said, Adam, it's going to be okay. And I felt that voice more than I heard it. It wasn't quite a sound. It was just like a feeling. And I'll tell you right now, years later, just 7 years ago from today, I had my brain injury, right? I got cracked by the back end of my dump truck when it knocked me out unconscious, cracked my skull, bruised my brain. And I'm going to tell you right now, spoiler alert, I heard and felt that same exact voice when I was laying unconscious in a field after getting cracked in the skull by the back end of a dump truck. Adam, it's going to be all right. I could never deny that voice. Even if I wanted to, I could never deny it, because I know that would be one of the biggest lies of my life. And you know I hate lying. And I want you to know that I believe truly, deeply, and fully that that voice came from God. God, my Father, my Creator, the person, the being, whatever He is, she is, whatever it is that created me, that was the voice. And right now, in 2022, we live in a time when we are losing faith all over the place. Our faith is being taken away from us. But I will not ever allow someone else to come in and silence my voice and take away my faith because of what I've been through. Shortly after that experience, I went out and I got a tattoo on my body that says, Jesus saves. It's a Jesus fish. Here, I'll show you right now. And I got that tattoo to mark that moment in my life. And I know some of you have already asked what the meaning is behind some of my tattoos. I'll give you guys a full rundown. I'll be happy to make a whole video on the significance of all my tattoos because they all have significant importance for me. I never got a single random thing. But guys and gals, listen, friends. This is a very personal experience that happened to me. And one of the reasons I don't go around sharing it all the time is because I don't want it to be taken lightly. But today, on this Easter, as I am going through so much, as I am personally enduring one of the hardest trials of my life, I needed to remind myself that my faith in God is in no one else's hands but my own. And no one can take that away from me, no matter what. And I implore all of you to keep your faith, to keep your strength, to keep your testimony, to keep your hope, to keep your love, despite everything that's going on around us in this world. Because it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. And it's going to get worse and worse. And we are the only ones who can do something about it. But it takes love and acceptance. And I'm saying this whether you are right-winged or left-wing, whether you are Democrat or Republican, liberal, conservative, doesn't matter. I have lots of friends that are both, that feel both, that have ideologies of both sides, both parties. So what does that tell me? That tells me that we can get together and get along. We can live amongst each other peacefully. But it's going to take a lot of respect. And that takes humility. And humility can be hard for many people. I know that. But friends, whether you are religious or spiritual or agnostic or atheist, I want you to just look outside of yourself. That's where it starts. Look outside of you. Because so many people just sit on their phone and they get encompassed in this because that is them and this is their tunnel vision. Put it down. Let it go after you watch this video, of course. And get out of yourself. We need to let go of that pride that keeps us from understanding other people. Let go of that hate that keeps us from loving other people. I have a hard time with certain people's beliefs, absolutely. But not until they are forced upon me. I want everybody to be able to believe whatever you believe. Peacefully. Don't demand things from me. I won't demand things from you. Do not take away my fatherhood to my children. And I will have respect for you. But once you get involved in my family, that is where I lose respect for a lot of people. But friends, losing your life thinking you are as good as dead will prove a lot to you. Now, back in 2003, while I was going through this, I kept my faith for a very long time. In fact, I don't believe I ever lost my faith, but I did doubt. But I doubted myself, not God. I never once doubted God. But I did doubt myself. And once I thought I was dying, I let go of that hope. But I did gain it back the moment I handed it over to God. And I said, God, I need you. Because I can't do this alone. And that is the key. We can't do this alone. And He doesn't want us to. We don't have to. We have our friends and our family, but we have Him always. So friends, that's my message for today on this Easter Sunday. I appreciate all of your support. I appreciate the encouraging words. I appreciate and love all of your comments. I love it. Our community here is growing fast. HardgainZ is growing. And we are all part of HardgainZ. So please make sure you've subscribed to the channel. Hit that like button, tap the bell to receive notifications every time I release a new video. I'm Coach HardgainZ, and this is HardgainZ, the podcast. Thank you for watching.